It's honestly kind of exhausting watching a studio treat a masterpiece like a line of credit they forgot to close. For years, the consensus was that Viggo Mortensen is Aragorn. That his performance was lightning in a bottle marriage of dirt nobility and the silence that couldn't be replicated. But Warner Brothers has looked at the current cinematic landscape and looked at their balance sheet and decided that definitive is a flexible term. We aren't getting another trip to Middle Earth. We're getting a new face under the crown. When we talk about Lord of the Rings, we're talking about the gold standard of high fantasy filmmaking. The franchise has already taken a hit with the unnecessarily long Hobbit movies and the Ring of Power series on Amazon Prime. They just don't capture the tactile and epic nature of the original trilogy from Peter Jackson. Recasting Aragorn for a prequel, especially one centered on a character whose story felt definitively closed in 2003, isn't just a news update, it's a litmus test for whether legacy media can let a story end, or if we're destined to just watch every icon we love eventually get reimagined for the sake of a quarterly earnings report. So Andy Serkis, who is pulling double duty as director and star of The Hunt for Gollum, has confirmed that the search is officially on for a new Aragorn. And despite Viggo Mortensen previously expressing a polite maybe if the story was right, the production is opting for a younger actor to fill the Strider boots, which I can't blame him because Viggo Mortensen is pushing 70. And this is part of a massive multi-film expansion at Warner Brothers and New Line, which currently being written by Stephen Colbert and his son Peter McGee. The Hunt for Gollum is slated to begin filming this year, meaning the era for the sacred trilogy is officially traded in for an expanded universe. So I brought up The Hobbit before, and, it's like the last few paragraphs of Tolkien's appendices expanded into a feature-length project. We got a bloated trilogy defined with heavy CGI and a love triangle involving an elf and a dwarf. That is ridiculous. I remember when the prequel was first announced, they wanted Guillermo del Toro to direct. Well, he left it, and then they got Peter Jackson back. The Peter Jackson who kind of fell off after The Lord of the Rings, let's be honest. And it was going to be 2 movies, which is too much. It was already too much with 2 movies, and then they expanded to 3 movies. Like, what? I remember watching the first one in the theater and kind of noped out on that third one. I still haven't even watched it. I watched a fan edit of all 3 movies made into one movie, which was okay. It was pretty good. Despite the heavy CGI, it doesn't even touch the original trilogy. But now it seems like Warner Brothers is really going to milk their IPs. They're already doing the Harry Potter series on HBO. I might check it out. I never really got into Harry Potter. I watched the first couple movies, just couldn't get into it. But it's kind of troubling, I think. It's all about IP farming, IP maintenance. They're treating Middle Earth like the DCU and Harry Potter. It's just less about organic storytelling. And let's talk about the Solo effect. We had that Solo prequel movie, and Harrison Ford defined Han Solo, so I couldn't see, I forgot the guy's name, but I couldn't see him as Han Solo. I feel like the same thing's going to happen with Aragorn. And you're telling a story whose ending we already know. It strips away the stakes. Who cares? Why do you need to see The Hunt when we know exactly where everyone ends up in Fellowship? And then we have Andy Serkis. He's directing and starring in it. He plays Gollum again. This is a character he's played to death. I mean, is this an actual passion project for him, or is it just Serkis being like a studio safe pair of hands for the motion capture tech? I don't know. I don't think he's made anything very impressive yet. I mean, let me know down in the comments if he has. And then there's the Stephen Colbert connection. I mean, apparently he's a super fan. His involvement feels kind of like meta marketing stunt almost to to sort of distract us from the fact they're strip mining the barrow downs of content. It's just a very weird pairing, very weird. Andy Serkis directing, Stephen Colbert and his son writing it. But I mean, they've promised like a grounded approach to this movie. But let's be real, with the reality of modern blockbusters today, we're being told it's going to feel like the original trilogy, but I mean, will it have the dirt and sweat of 2001? I kind of doubt it. I feel it might just have like that plastic sheen of the Rings of Power. It just does not feel cinematic. I don't know. I mean, it just feels like the death of the standalone epic. Nothing is allowed to just exist anymore. It has to be a bridge or a setup for like the next 5 years of the slate. It's just exhausting. At least they're not going to de-age Viggo Mortensen. We do not need that. I'm sure that's a budget thing they don't want to deal with either, but I mean, facilitating a young Indiana Jones, ooh, I think they're wanting a 25-year-old Aragorn now, and they can have a king for the next decade of spin-offs, probably. Worst case scenario, in my opinion. But, I mean, Aragorn is going to get recast, but we're still seeing Ian McKellen and Elijah Wood. And Elijah Wood hasn't aged, so I don't think that's a problem. But they're going to be the framing device. And, they keep the member berries flowing and the trailer clicks high. I don't know. It's going to be weird to see original actors framed with a newly cast Aragorn. But I mean, at the end of the day, The Hunt for Gollum feels less like a movie and more like a corporate quarterly report rendered in 4K. We aren't getting this because there's a burning narrative void in the life of Aragorn. We're getting it because Aragorn is a brand name with a high Q rating. I think recasting Viggo Mortensen is like the ultimate admission that the character has officially become more important than the performance, sadly. It's a cynical move that prioritizes the longevity of the IP over the legacy of the art. So here we are. Middle-earth is officially becoming a cinematic universe, complete with the spin-offs and the recast and the late-night talk show host fan fiction. We're trading the mystery of the unseen parts of Tolkien's world of guided tour of things we already understood. And if their goal is to find a new king, they might want to remember that Viggo Mortensen's Aragorn was defined by his reluctance to take the crown. But WB, on the other hand, I couldn't grab it fast enough. But let me know down in the comments, is there a certain actor you think will make a good Aragorn without him looking like a cosplayer? Or should the king have stayed in the archives? Let me know down in the comments below. And YouTube thinks you'll like one of these other videos by my head. And I'll see you next time.